Hello, everybody. A very good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Thank you for being here. Thank you for saying hi from Texas and California, from Sussex and Kent and Essex and Merseyside. It's just wonderful to be back, to have so many people who join in and who follow this amazing path of Reiki, bringing that into our everyday life. Let's just wait for a few more minutes to make sure that a few more people are going to join tonight. And then we will get started. And the idea is to always have one topic just as a starting point, to start talking about it, to start reflecting on it. And then we'll just see where we are getting and where we are being guided in the show. It's really, really just wonderful to have so many people. Hello to Finland. It's just great to have something, to do something that is so international. And of course, Reiki is Japanese, but it is not about Japan, Japanese history or certain principles. It is truly universal. And I think this is just so amazing. This is why it simply works for everybody. And why I still feel that Reiki can really have such an impact that at one stage, and hopefully very soon, it can really help making the world a better place. I did look in the mirror a moment ago and I thought, okay, I look a little bit worse for wear. I went to the Notting Hill Carnival yesterday, which is Europe's biggest street party. And I think there are about 1 million people on the streets. And of course, if you do know London or if you do know Notting Hill, the streets are quite narrow. So it's really crowded, but it was wonderful. The origins are, I don't know how long they go back, but decades. And it's all about bringing Caribbean Carnival to London, bringing the carnival tradition from people who've come here and who've lived here for many, many years, but to bring that to London. And luckily the weather was really good and it was just amazing. It was so much fun. It was so positive, such positive vibes. And I thought, well, so many different people are coming together and we can all have a wonderful time. We can all dance and enjoy life together. What a shame that this is not the same everywhere and all the time. But it's just amazing to have these moments where we just really feel connected and embrace different cultures. And I even did a little bit of dancing. It was very embarrassing, but it's just great to come together. And of course, Mikao Usui did create his system for people from all walks of life. That was the entire idea. And the topic today is basically just to get a little bit of a deeper understanding why Reiki is taught in different levels. One could argue that all we need is an attunement, is this first connection with Reiki, and then we can use Reiki very simply. So why are there different levels? Why are there courses that take 2 days or longer? Why do we need all this training? And I feel the answer is really very much common sense. It's very much about you learn by doing, you learn by training, but there are also people who are more advanced on their path and they can help you with more insight, with ideas, with techniques. And this is simply the same in everything we learn. We are not born as a master, as much as we often wish this was the case. We make mistakes and then we learn from these mistakes. Luckily, beautifully, with Reiki, we can't really make mistakes, but we can go deeper. And this really is the idea behind the different levels of Reiki, to go deeper and to give us more tools to go even deeper. I mean, when we learn yoga and the first lesson or so, we just sit cross-legged and we start breathing and we start meditating. And step by step, we do some movements, we do stretching, we stand on one leg, which I still find is one of the most difficult things. And eventually, quite some time later, we find ourselves in a headstand if we want to do it. And just like yoga, with Reiki, many things are also optional. What isn't optional is the attunement. So that needs to be there. This is always the start of Reiki, this amazing connection that is created through this attunement, initiation, whatever we want to call it. It is a teacher focusing on their connection to Reiki and being in this field, in this dense, deep, powerful, energetic field that is created between the teacher or around the teacher and the student. And within this field, the aura, the energy field, the chakras of the students open, and they feel that they can make this connection themselves. They feel Reiki, and afterwards, after the attunement, whenever they wish, they can just connect to Reiki. They just need to think of Reiki, and it is there, as we all know. So this is very much what Reiki One does. Reiki One brings the attunement, and then we are there with our healing hands. Sometimes people feel something in the hands straight away. Sometimes it takes quite some time. Some people feel a lot in an attunement. Some people feel hardly anything. But the connection is always created, and step by step, we start feeling more. And then at some stage, we can even do an exercise in a Reiki course, placing our hands on somebody else, and they will feel also something. They will feel the flow of Reiki. So this is absolutely the starting point of everything with Reiki. But then we may feel something, we may be convinced there's something going on, or at least we get the feedback from somebody else that definitely when you place the hands on them, they feel something, they feel some warmth, often some kind of flow of energy. And often if they have headaches, they get better. If they've got back pain, the back pain gets better, and people are just amazed. But what do we actually do with our healing hands then? How do we place them? So this is what the first level really is all about. It is setting the absolute basics. It's about making the connection and then exploring what we can do with our healing hands. Different hand positions, at some stage following more and more our intuition, giving some ideas how to place the hands around the ears and the eyes and the throat, sometimes along the chakras, even though the chakra system isn't really part of the Reiki teachings, but it is roughly along the chakras where we place the hands. And then the more we do that, the more we feel more in one area than in the other. And this is when our intuition kicks in and we realize, okay, maybe we should stay longer where we feel something. Then we get the feedback that the person, actually our client, the person we are paired up with, they have some problems there. It resonates with them. This is how we learn. So we very much start understanding how to place the hands, getting the feedback. Of course, we also need to know a few things about professional practice, that of course you would never place the hands on any intimate parts of the body. There's always the choice of hands on or hands off, some practical considerations, the idea that Reiki can be used for anything and everything, but if there is a medical necessity, of course, people need conventional medical help. If somebody are on prescription drugs, they cannot just stop them. They need many Reiki treatments, and then they need to discuss it with the doctor whether they can actually make any changes. So all these things need to be taught in a Reiki class. And this takes, well, not just one day. Often in Reiki classes, in the traditional Reiki teaching, there were more than one attunement. Hawaii Takata, the lady who brought it through Hawaii and America into the West and into the world, she always gave 4 attunements in the first course. Of course, there are lots of questions because Reiki works holistically. So we understand how our body is connected holistically. That Reiki is not just for physical healing, but also for emotional healing, for mental healing, looking at life in different ways, and for spiritual healing, looking at purpose, looking at our life path. And then we get more into a spiritual understanding. There are the Reiki principles. And first I thought, this is really weird to have something like that in a Reiki course. But it's all about raising our vibrations and realizing that anger and worry keep us in our body, keep us in this 3-dimensional narrowness, not realizing there's much more to us. Gratitude can really raise our vibrations. And working diligently means we have the power. We can step into this power. We are spirits in a body. And being kind to others stands for nothing else but the realization that everyone is connected. So this is why we are having all this in a Reiki course. And this is the first level. And then people can use Reiki as much as they like, for themselves, for other people. So why is there another level? Because we can fine-tune Reiki. And for that, we need some experience. Not necessarily a very long experience. Apparently, some very early Reiki classes in Japan were even done that Reiki One was done on Monday, Tuesday, and Reiki Two on Wednesday and Thursday. So it is not absolutely necessary to have very much time in between, but it is helpful to have some time so that the body can get used, that our energy system and our energy field can get used to this higher vibrational energy that we are opening up to. And once we feel this opening, once we start using it on ourselves and we realize it really works on the physical level and there really is more intuition and I see and sense things in different ways, then we are ready for some working tools. And this is the second level, introducing the 3 Reiki symbols that the Reiki 2 symbols or Reiki working symbols. The power symbol for physical healing and strength, everything to do with our physical existence. The harmony symbol to do with guidance, with intuition, with our emotions, with our mind, looking at life in different ways. And the connection symbol to give distant treatments, to connect with somebody anywhere in the world, but also to connect more deeply with ourselves, to feel love, the natural connection, to feel more unconditional love, and to accept that we are not just loved, we are love. And this is what we can freely share. So this is very deep, where we go into when we start with a second level. And the symbols, of course, have these different elements. There's the actual visual representation, the drawn symbol that we can draw in the air. Or there is the mantra that is something like the intellectual description. There's a meaning behind. And there is the level of sound, of kotodama, chanting. And when we do this, we really powerfully feel the vibration. So it opens a way of working with Reiki in different ways. And we get so much more intuitive, and we can learn more intuitive techniques that really help us to open up more and more to intuition. Up to a point where some people feel they open up and receive messages, receive information, they can relay that to other people. Everybody has very different abilities with that. Some people feel it, some people hear or see something. It's not necessary to really turn into a psychic medium, but it is possible. And this is crazy. So we can really go so deep that we have this direct connection to higher vibrational levels in the universe, and we can communicate with spirit. So all this is in the system of Reiki by raising our vibrations, and this takes time and effort. And this is why it's a system that has these different levels. And we take the step whenever we are ready to the next level. And at some stage, if we feel it's right for us, we can go to the master teacher level. Some people split it these days, and there is the master practitioner level and the master teacher level. The traditional way is basically to teach these together. And there is another symbol, the master symbol. Last week we talked about the light. We spoke about the idea that Reiki is light, that we are working with light, and the master symbol represents that. But it's not just on that level. And this is something that I feel really shouldn't stay a secret. The master symbol is used in the very first attunement. So these different vibration levels, in fact, all symbols are used. So we have already everything that Reiki is in our first attunement. The next levels are just learning more, getting more techniques, opening up more to the point where we really move from practicing Reiki into being Reiki. Just taking deep breath and just feeling I am connected. I'm always connected. I am Reiki. I'm using it, but I am on this vibrational level as soon as I focus on it. It is always there. And this is why there are these vibration levels and these different vibration levels. And still, when we start with the path of Reiki and we become a Reiki master, this is not the end of the journey. This is the step into another long part of the journey. And we go deeper and deeper. And a year after the master course, we've understood so much more. Years later, we go to the next levels of realization, especially things like intuition or realizing, sensing messages that we get, and more information and intuition. For me, it was a very, very long journey, and there's always something new that I'm learning when I practice Reiki. I practice Reiki every single day, and there's always not just reassurance, but also, oh, that was different today. That was interesting. I can go deeper in this way or that way. There are also, of course, challenges on our path in our life. So we have Reiki, but we need to then apply Reiki to these challenges. And all this is part of this amazing journey. Reiki is a journey, and Reiki is designed as a journey from the very first moment. And along these journeys, or this journey, we get more tools and we get a deeper and deeper understanding. So this is why there are these different vibrational levels. And quite frankly, if you do Reiki One on Saturday and Reiki Two on Sunday and the master training the following weekend, you can do it. But I don't think it's actually helpful. I don't feel that we need to speed up Reiki so much. It is such an amazing journey, and it is a journey for life. So why do we need to get everything in one weekend or two when we then work with it the rest of our lives? So for me, it's very much taking the time and sensing inside, am I ready for the next step? And I do feel this is very much what um, we were supposed to talk about. And it's really interesting. So it became very clearly yesterday that this should be the topic of today's show. And I'm just looking if there are any questions. Let's just see if there are any comments. And yes, mastery is such an interesting word. I mean, how can we ever master universal energy? We can master the techniques, but then the rest is confidence. And confidence comes from use, from experience, from feedback, from really working with Reiki every single day. And over time, we might even feel that we can now go not in different directions, but we can add something. So for me, it was very, very interesting that, was it a year ago, 1.5 years ago, I started working with crystals and Reiki, and it was absolutely fascinating. For me, it was the next step. So this is what I have been working with a lot. I've taught a course in London, and the feedback was really fascinating, up to a point where I decided I should really do this and reach more people and do an online course, which is just about to be finished. It's very, very exciting. So over the next few weeks, this will launch, and we'll be doing more with crystals. We can start on this journey. We can go deeper and deeper. We can use those as tools in connection with Reiki, and a whole new world of universal energy, or in fact of the universe, opens up. And I've been talking with Venetia, who's just connecting here. Hello, thank you. Wonderful having you here. She's the director of alternatives in London, and we have just been discussing an amazing idea for next year to do like a really, really big is event the right word? I suppose so. Together with Reiki and crystals, and going much deeper into the intuition and into the communication with higher consciousness, with spirit. And we can get the most incredible insight through that. We can get very, very deep healing. So it is just a fascinating journey that Reiki takes us on. And I have to admit, I don't know whether the word stuck is probably what my partner would use, if that's the right word, but I was very limited. I thought, okay, I want to really understand Reiki as much as you can. I did the master training in the Japanese and the Western traditions, and really tried to understand what the real Reiki is all about. But at some stage, of course, you have understood a lot. It is a wonderful journey. Then you think, okay, so what's next? We can go deeper. We can always go deeper, but sometimes tools like mediumship, like crystals, like more intuitive techniques, and different applications, exciting applications in professional ways, bringing it into investment banks, bringing it into politics, bringing it into the way we interact with nature. It's unbelievable how we can use Reiki in so many different directions. And by doing so, we can really fine-tune our abilities, and we can, well, we just don't stop understanding more about ourselves and about the universe. So I think this is just an incredibly exciting, it's exciting times to use this, but also it's exciting to be on this journey together, to share these things. I'm so grateful for the comments. I'm so grateful for the interaction, for the emails, and also doing the courses. So I have started getting more involved again in the Reiki Academy in London, doing more courses myself. There are some amazing teachers, and it's just an amazing team. And let's see where this takes us, and where the next steps are internationally. But Beautifully, of course, we can connect virtually. And we don't even need a camera or social media for that. We can just use the energy. And every single time we do this, we do a virtual online Reiki share. I'm just so amazed of how much I am feeling. And the feedback, especially from people who are joining in, tuning in a replay at a later stage. And it's fascinating. So last week, I think there were 30, 40 people or so, maybe up to 50 during the show. And within a few days, it was well over 500. So many people are tuning in at a later stage. And the beauty is they can also tune into the healing, they can feel the energy, and we feel it already. There is no time or space. So Reiki really opens us up to the quantum level where everything happens simultaneously. So I would like to invite you to join everybody now on this Reiki share, everybody who is here live and everybody who will join in at a later stage. And when you're ready, just take a moment to connect to Reiki and just really feel the connection. And then set your intention to connect with everybody on this Reiki share. You can use the connection, the distance symbol, if you wish, if you've learned it, or simply your intention. And just set your intention to connect with everybody on this Reiki share now and everybody who will join at a later stage in a replay. And then just let Reiki flow. Just feel it flowing through you. Feel your connection to Reiki. Feel it flowing through your hands and reaching everybody, connecting with everybody on this Reiki share. At the same time, feel that you are receiving Reiki through everybody. Of course, it feels different through the individual vessels that we are. And having this channel through so many vessels at the same time is just so powerful. So just experience the flow of Reiki, experience the healing. And if you are struggling with anything in your life at present, just set your intention that Reiki may help you with this right now. There is no effort needed. Just allow Reiki to flow. Just experience the flow. Just try not to think of anything else, but really be in the moment. And then you can take a moment to just bring your hands together and thank Reiki and slowly come back into the here and now. Well, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here, for the share, for the community, and really the momentum. And I do feel that there is some momentum building up. Something is happening, and we'll just see where this is going. But I really feel we are going in an incredible direction with Reiki, bringing more Reiki into the world and reaching more and more people. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. And I look forward to seeing you next week, even though I won't be just really seeing and connecting, because next week's YouTube show will be pre-recorded because I will be traveling. But then I'm back again. But let's see what the topic will be, and I'm sure something really fascinating is coming through. And even the pre-recorded shows, as we can see with the replays afterwards, are really powerful. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being here, and have an absolutely wonderful rest of the day, rest of the evening, wherever you are.